Hello, everybody. Welcome to Zoe's Treasures. We did start a little bit early, but we have a special guest today, so we thought we would just start a few minutes early. Good morning, Southern Charm, Taco Cat Lady, Reptile Guy. I'm seeing all kinds of names that I'm recognizing here. Pickin' Pretty Trading, Livingston Budget Mama. Hello, everybody. As you know, I'm Tracy. My husband's Noel. We are Zoe's Treasures. Today is our chat show. I'm going to introduce our guest in the morning, so we'll have our guest on for a while, and I have some other topics to talk about. Nothing like super in-depth today, but I've got a few kind of mismatch of topics later on to talk about. How is everybody doing? First off, how are you guys doing? Any cool, exciting plans for the weekend? Tired. Southern Charm, I bet you. Have you even recovered from Vintage Wars yet? Did you? This week was shipping week. Did you get all your shipping out? That's the most important thing. Mary Tom, good morning. So seeing Mary's making beads in the flame. That sounds cool. Oh, Taco Cat Lady, 20-year anniversary. Cool. 4 orders left, Southern Charm. Wow, I can't believe it. For those of you who don't know, Southern Charm was on Vintage Wars. She did, I don't know, 200, probably over 200. I wasn't counting, but so many orders. So she has probably been doing nothing but packing all week long. I don't envy the packing side of it, that's for sure. Oh, you're officially, Taco Cat Lady, you're officially vintage now. Yes, you are, if it's been 20 years. Long nights, I bet. I want to mention that seeing Mary Tom's name makes me think, just pops into my mind. We had our new seller raid train this past Wednesday. It went so well. I was so proud of all our new sellers. If you are a new seller and you're looking to be on our new seller raid train, we are now booking into January, but send me a message. We'll get your name put on the list, and we'll get you a spot on the train coming up. I also have another train that I co-host with Choco Dog 6. Don't know if she's here or not. I haven't seen her name yet. Good morning, the Teacup Trap. But we do a junk jar raid train, and it is on, I'm going to say it now, I'm going to announce it again at the end of the show, September 9th, next Saturday, whatever next Saturday is in a week away. September 9th. I have 2 spots left that we would love to fill. So if you are interested in, it is create a junk jar raid train. 2 different concepts. You can pre-make jars and sell those. They're 30-minute spots, or you can have like the make a vignette where you have some junk jar fillers and some jars, and people could pick, and you can do it that way, whichever way that you would want to do it, whatever fits your style. So if you're interested, DM me so I can get you to sign up for that. Again, I have 2 spots we're trying to fill. So just putting that out there because we want to make sure it's a full train. It's just a Saturday morning, a short train. All right, with that, I'm going to bring on our guest so that we can spend some time talking and getting to know somebody new. So before I bring her on, I'm going to let her introduce herself. I'm not going to do the introduction, but I'm just going to tell you, I just stumbled upon these sellers, relatively new sellers. And one morning I'm just flipping. Usually I'll get up early in the morning, 4:35, to do my packing before my day begins. And I'll listen to Whatnot while I'm packing. And I just stumbled across them. And she cracks me up. Like, I watch their shows, another husband and wife team. So of course, I'm drawn to another husband and wife team. So I watched about 3 or 4 shows, and I told my husband, I'm like, we need to have them on the show. She's hilarious. She cracks me up. Oh, sorry, you guys. Hold on real quick. I got to get new headphones because I won't be able to hear. Just a second. All right. I'll get new headphones in a minute. I can talk to you guys, but I won't be able to hear our guest without headphones. So we're going to wait just a second until I get another set of headphones. My husband's working on that. So anyways, I was just super impressed with them as new sellers. They do vintage, all kinds of stuff. I'll let her tell you about what they sell, but we're going to get right into that in just a second. Let's talk about some other stuff coming up. While we're killing some time here before we start that. S Fish. Anybody familiar here with S Fish? He is doing a community challenge show. If you guys haven't seen these community challenge shows, 100% worth it. 100%. So JJ Shopper and CG Boomerang Echo, both what I would consider bigger sellers on here. CG Boomerang's super popular for all of her. It's CG Boomerang Echo, super popular for her raid trains. And then JJ Shopper is just an awesome seller, and she does some raid trains too. But they came together and decided that they were going to do this community challenge. It's not necessarily a raid train, but there's like a thumbnail, and just people are kind of hopping on board, jumping into these. And the concept of it is for you to schedule a show and teach people something outside of Whatnot. So something that doesn't have to do with Whatnot. I've seen candle making, soap making, a show about rabbits. I did one on taxes, one on pop culture. There's just a ton of different shows. They are so great. So if you guys are just like hanging out and need some Whatnot entertainment, go to the community category and look for it's like a blue icon. It is really, really such a great idea. Anybody here in the chat doing one of these shows? If you are, let us know if it's upcoming, when your community show is, just so that people could, go hop in and bookmark it and actually see what they look like to find them. All right, do we have some headphones? All right, hopefully they'll last long enough. Okay, now that I can hear, I'll put them in the right ears. Now that I can hear, we're going to bring our guest on. All right, so without further ado, I would like to introduce you to Tina, and I'm going to let her, there she is. Hello, hello.
Good morning.
Instead of me trying to introduce you, who are you and what do you do? Tell us about yourself.
I'm Tina, my husband Gerald. We are the Youngs. We're from South Mississippi. We are really, really new to Whatnot, but I feel like I found my people here. I'm a little bit different. I'm socially awkward. I always tell everybody, if you watch my show, welcome to the Hot Mess Express. And that's okay. It's okay to be a little different and a little kooky. We just really love the community. Everybody's so great and accepting here, which is kind of crazy considering how many people are on Whatnot. But we love it. We sell vintage glass, pottery, old books. I love all the things.
Yeah,
so I don't really
have some great items for sure.
Thank you.
And your username on here is for Forever Young Resellers. We're going to put that up on the screen, and we'll also tag you in the box so people can easily follow you.
Thank you.
How did you get started on Whatnot? You said you were new. How long have you been here, and how did you get started?
Our first show was July 2nd of this year. So we're really, really new. We got started. Gerald's father had passed away, and he had an estate of his stuff and his grandmother's stuff. And I was like, what are we going to do with all these things? Because it was really nice things that you just don't want to get rid of to somebody that's not going to love them. So we first started with a little booth here in town, and I happened upon Whatnot, and I said, you know what? Let's just try it. Let's just see what happens. What's the worst that could happen? And we did our first show July 2nd, and I haven't stopped since. I just love it. But that's how we got started. And since then, now I have an excuse to buy all the pretty things. I always say to the sellers, yes, to the sellers on Whatnot, other sellers are your best customers. We love all the pretty things.
Yes.
So yeah, it's just been super fun since we started.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. I love sourcing. I mean, I think that sometimes that gets us in trouble because there's, I don't know about you, but I'll source, and then it's like, ooh, I better do some selling. So I've seen you early mornings, like 4:45, 5 o'clock in the morning, because you have another job, right? So this is like, you're doing double duty here.
Yes, I work full time. My husband works full time. So we kind of squeeze it in where we can. My normal times is going to be like early mornings, but then I try to do some pop-ups during the week, like in the afternoons, just for people, to kind of see, we are alive in the afternoons and on the weekends. I just don't schedule those because I may be hung up at work or super tired or whatever. And pop-ups are great too.
Absolutely. So do you have a regular show days and times? Is there like your mornings, are there certain mornings of the week that you're always on or try to be always on?
Every Wednesday morning is going to be 3:45 Central, 4:45 Eastern. And that's why I normally look like with the bags under my eyes, but it's okay. We're all friends here. But yeah, that's my normal Wednesdays, 3:45 Central.
Wow.
I try to stay on a couple of hours then, and then I'll just do pop-ups the rest of the time.
Wow. I want to say this is your birthday month, right? You've been celebrating with shows this month. So
Yes,
happy birthday.
yes, and
I'm
I
sure
do
it's
get a whole
belated.
month.
And that, as
Thank
we
you.
should.
Yes.
Absolutely. Um, tell us about your name. How did I think I know the story behind, but how did you come up
Yeah.
with Forever Young Resellers?
Well, we are the Youngs, and we kind of came up with it when we first started the booth. And of course, Forever Young, you got the, what is it, Rod Stewart song? You've got all the things that's Forever Young. So I said, we are boring people, y'all. And I said, let's just do Forever Young Resellers. And that was it, just because it has young, in it.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
I don't think you're boring. Like I was saying at the very beginning when I introduced you, I crack up when I watch your show. I love your like southern like the phrases that you say. They just crack me up. Some of the stuff you say, like I don't know if I've ever heard it before, and I'm like, what was that? I've got to remember that. So
And see, that's
um,
pretty funny because to me, that's like just normal talk. And I'll have people be like, "You are so country girl," and I'm like, "What are you talking? I sound normal." And they're like, "No."
hold on real quick, honey. I need new headphones. These just died and I can't hear anymore. Hold on. Sorry, folks.
Sorry, guys, my fault. The headphones didn't
Yeah, we're
charge.
gonna have to
Need
fire
get a
him.
replacement. I know Southern Charm. I'm fired.
You are in trouble now. That sounds like me and my husband.
Oh, now he's going upstairs. All right, I'm just going to ramble for a second. Hold on, Tina. Just hang out with us. Don't go nowhere because I can't hear you at all. The audience can hear, right? The audience can hear you, but I can't hear you. So, y'all, if you have any questions for Tina, feel free throw them in the chat because you guys can hear her. I just can't hear her yet. But while we're waiting, I'm going to tell you about some of the things that we're going to talk about. Can I? Of course, you can ask. Ellie, what do you want to ask? I'm watching. I'm waiting. Isn't that the most awkward when, like, something's coming in the chat and you're just waiting? I accidentally hit a button and I have a $25 prop credit. How do I use that? Prop credit. Promotional credit? Promo. You hit a button and you have a 25. Are you a seller, Ellie? If you're a seller, you can apply that promotion to your show. You might want to reach out. Yeah, reach out to Whatnot. I have never used the Whatnot promotions. If anybody else in the chat, I see I Love Discount. Good morning. I know you've used promotions. If you can help Ellie here, I would love for you to do that. I've never used the Whatnot promo. Let's see. Have you had consistent buyers in your shows? I have 7 shows and think different every time. I'm going to leave the random chicks question to you, Tina, to answer. Since you're newer, you can kind of talk from that perspective.
I didn't really get repeat buyers probably until the end of July, beginning of August. And then I noticed certain names would come up. Before then, it was totally random. And I still get a lot of new buyers, which is great. So hopefully more and more will come in. But it took about 3 or 4 weeks before I got repeat buyers. The main thing is just be consistent, be yourself, and people are going to like you. They're going to know you have great things, and they're going to show up every time they see you have a show come up. For me, that's great.
Thanks. I still can't hear, but I can see like you answered the question. Thank you for answering her. Southern Charm saying about the promo. Yeah. So thank you for helping each other out there. All right. Some of the stuff we're going to talk about in a little bit. I'm going to get my headphones in just a second. I do apologize. Usually we're a little more put together than this. Look at me. I've just lost my notes. I am just a whole mess today. I want to talk about. Okay. Thank you. You guys are answering questions. I want to talk about don't be a seller. Don't just be a seller, but be a buyer too. So I'm just going to we're just kind of filling some time here until I get headphones and we can continue on with our talking with Tina from Forever Young Resellers. But one of the things that I had, and then when we come back, when I finally get my ears, maybe you can chime in on this too. But everybody who's here, if you are a seller, I would highly recommend, and of course this is just my opinion, that you have to buy on here. And I don't mean you need to go and spend a fortune on here and be shopping at everybody's show. But I think just as in retail, they have secret shoppers that we should be doing the same thing, and not in secret, but we learn from other sellers. So I think as buyer or as sellers, that occasionally we should buy something from somebody in another category, from somebody in our own category. We experience, be on that other side, put on the buyer hat and see it from a buyer's perspective. How long does it take to get your package? What does it look like when it arrives? How is it packaged? I know when I first started, I didn't package the best that there was. I mean, I did okay, but I learned from watching other, buying from other sellers and seeing what they sent me, how I should package things. I never would have thought of using saran wrap or plastic wrap on my items until I got a package that way. And I'm like, this is genius. I'm going to start doing this. So, like I said, I like to relate things to real life and real like retail establishments. Have y'all heard of the secret shoppers where somebody will go into a store? Hold on, let's see if these work. Hello, can say something, see if I can hear you.
Good morning. Good morning.
Finally. Okay, I got ears again. So y'all know what, like they have secret shoppers in retail stores where somebody will pose as a shopper and they go in and buy something and then they give a report back to management on how the customer, mystery shopper, natural state of high, there you go. So they do this in retail establishments. Take the same concept and maybe take the mystery out of it, but you can learn so much from being a buyer and not just a seller. All right. So having said that, Tina, are you also a buyer? Did you start the very beginning of Whatnot being a buyer?
Yes, when I first found Whatnot, I was just a buyer and loved the concept. Decided to start trying to sell, but first and foremost, a buyer. I'm still a buyer. I say the people that sell on here are going to be your best buyers. I am a true testament to that. If you would come look on my porch any given day, there's going to be a box.
I agree. I always say
learned
that.
a lot from watching you guys.
Oh, thank you so much. I
Yeah,
appreciate
like
that.
other sellers for
Yeah.
sure.
Yes, absolutely. Not only should we be in socializing, buying when we can. And again, y'all, I'm not advocating for you to go spend all your money on Whatnot. I'm just saying, as part of learning to be a better seller, you should be a buyer occasionally also. But I agree. If Amazon or the UPS guy doesn't deliver to my house, he's probably knocking on the door to make sure I'm still alive because I get way too many boxes.
Same.
What are we missing here? So you played a wheel game. So Daisy's Lane says, I tried Disney this week, won a fancy backpack on a wheel game. So there you go. Daisy Lane's kind of branching out from vintage, checking out some Disney category. Let's get back to the interview. I want to hear more about you. Let's see. What is your favorite thing to sell?
Glass.
Yes.
Glass, which my husband hates before. He is my shipper. So yeah,
You're so lucky.
we have a love hate. I love the glass. He hates the glass, but he's an excellent shipper. He is all about the bubble wrap, the paper, and the saran wrap. Yeah. But yeah, glass is my favorite thing. Second favorite thing is going to be old books, just because I'm a nerd at heart and I love the old books. But that would be my second, my backup.
Yeah. So do you have a favorite glass? Is there a certain color or a certain like maker of glass that you like, or you just love it all?
If you have ever watched my show, y'all, I am a cobalt girl. I'm a cobalt
okay.
girl. Color me cobalt. Can't resist it.
Yeah.
I only have like a few pieces in my show because I can never give it up. That is my addiction. Yes, I need therapy. But yeah, cobalt for sure.
Yeah.
Now, my
I do
husband Gerald,
amber.
he loves anything uranium.
Oh, okay. We have another husband and wife team. I love discounts, and Tony is a uranium guy too. On that duo, he sometimes they'll do tours of their house, hundreds and hundreds of pieces. It's just amazing. Blows my mind. So
Yeah, that's Gerald.
that's hard to get though. Yeah, I don't know about where you're at, but where I'm at in Pennsylvania, uranium, like I come across a piece every now and then, and the stuff I see at auction is I just get outbid so fast. Like it's so expensive.
It's super hard to find here too. Every now and then we'll get lucky, like at a garage sale, yard sale, or something like that, and find a piece. And he does his little happy dance, which nobody wants to see. We will not make y'all watch that. But yeah, so we're super excited when we run across a piece.
Yeah. I had never seen your husband before. I always hear his voice in the background on your shows, but I've never seen him on camera until this morning when he was setting up for you. And I'm like, oh, that's what you look like.
Yeah, he got on in front of camera like I think maybe our July 4th show because I was looking for a piece we couldn't find because we
Mhm.
were crazy back then. We weren't organized at all. And I said, get in front of the camera or I will murder you. Like, get in front of the camera. And so he did. He sold a jar of marbles, y'all, and it was so adorable. He said, I will
Oh.
never do that again. I love you more than anything, but I will never do that again. So he loves being behind the camera, and that's
Mhm.
fine. You know, I get it
Yeah,
because it's scary. New sellers starting out, yeah, it's scary to get in front of the camera and put yourself out there.
it is. So you said at the beginning that you're kind of like shy or introverted a bit. So I mean, was the whole camera thing like this big kind of?
For sure. For sure. Even now, and we've done quite a few shows now, even now, before getting on here with you guys, I have to go and make sure, take a
Yeah.
moment, get yourself together, Tina. I still have that. I think I will always be nervous before getting
Hmm.
in front of the camera. And that's fine. Sometimes
Yeah.
you need that nervous energy though.
You do. It kind of pumps you up. It's
Yeah.
I mean, I'm the same way, super introverted, and I get butterflies before every single show. And I think,
Every
I
show.
mean, it's so good to hear from another brand new seller because I think this is a huge stumbling block or kind of the thing that a lot of new sellers are like, oh, I can't do that because of the camera. So
Yeah.
I love having like a newer seller like yourself being like, yeah, I was scared too, but look it, here I am doing it. Um, does
Every
Whatnot give
time.
sellers any of the shipping money for supplies? Tracy rocks. Unfortunately, no. All of that comes from your own pocket. So Tracy's asking if Whatnot gives sellers any money for shipping, supplies, blah blah. Nope, you pay for all of that, but it is a legitimate business expense that you can deduct on your taxes. So at least you get some benefit that way. Um, what is your favorite thing about Whatnot?
The community, by far. The community. People like you guys that reach out to new
Mhm.
sellers that do these chats like that. People that help you along the way on things you don't realize you're messing up on, and they're like, hey, look, try this and see if it works better. The buyers, the sellers, the entire community has just been so great. And like I said, in my show, it's going to be a hot mess, and the people that's in there laugh with me.
Yeah.
Because I laugh at myself all the time. I'm gonna mess up, and this community has just been great, so great. So the community by far is unlike anything I've ever seen.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. Tracy also asked, do you have to print receipts and shipping labels? You don't have to print receipts or packing lists, but yes, you have to print your own shipping labels. And I would suggest for any new seller, and I have heard other experienced sellers say the same thing, that the best first investment you can make is a thermal printer, and I back that 100%. Do you guys have a thermal printer? Did you buy one right away? You were like, yeah, I'm not messing
Yes,
with
we do.
this.
Yes. Gerald doing the shipping, he was like, once again, I love you, but if we don't get a printer that's not a regular printer, a thermal printer, I will lose my mind. And I said, well, we can't really afford to put you in a hospital for losing your mind, so let's get the thermal printer.
So
And
much
yes, it
cheaper.
has been a lifesaver. I would say that, and definitely a scale
Yes.
to weigh the things. Hmm.
What else? What other tips would you give, having been new yourself? Just what, July, August, 2 months, maybe
Hmm.
two and a half. What tips would you give new sellers? Like, what are some of your
Just
best
do
lessons or
it.
things learned?
Just do it. Don't be scared. It was okay to be scared, but take that and use it. Um, Make sure you wrap everything more than you think you need to.
Yep.
The postal service will actively try to destroy your items. So make sure you wrap everything extra good. Have fun. If you are not having fun, don't do it. People can see that and read that and pick up on that. And you don't want to be unhappy while you're doing this. You want to have fun while you're doing it. That's kind of the
Yes.
point of it. So just do it. That would be my first thing. Yes, you're going to be
100%.
scared and terrified. You're going to mess up. It's okay. We all mess up. Just do it.
Yep. And like, I have broken things on camera. I haven't tripped and fallen yet, but all of those things, they're just laughing right along with you. If you could just laugh it off, your audience is like, this is entertainment. This is cool. I'll tell you what, everybody, Whatnot audience, all of us, we love some reality TV, and this is as much reality as you're going to get right here.
Okay.
So, um, let's see. Tracy also asked, after a show, does Whatnot list all the buyers' purchases together? Yes, they do. In your shipment tab on your Sellers Hub, they'll all be grouped by buyer. Cheryl says, I learned very quickly to add some weight to each item to compensate for the weight you need for packing. 100% Cheryl, yes. Um, You are so lucky your husband does all the shipping. I need to find out how you set this up with your husband so that I can take those tips and apply it to my husband.
Well, the kind of trade off on that, if I'm gonna source and clean and post and list, because it's a lot to list and whatnot. That's a big deal. And be in front of the camera, then he's gonna ship. So that's our trade off.
Tony,
Now, if he wants to
Tim,
get in
and
front of the
I,
camera, I'll ship.
Tony, Tim, and I, we're gonna go on strike.
I want to do a whatnot husbands and whatnot raid train and make all the guys. The only thing is like Tony, he sells all the time anyway, so he would be like he's already a natural in front of the camera, so he would have an advantage there. But I think that's awesome. I've got to give my husband credit. He does all our graphics and all of that stuff. I do the shipping, but he'll pitch in if there's a lot. I'm like, honey, I need some help. He'll help me. Oh, Alessandra says she'll wear a mustache and pretend to be Tony. Yeah, you guys, don't you think the husbands and whatnot would be the best raid train ever? I should like send
I
that to
would watch
CG.
that. I would
Yeah.
be there for that 1,000%.
Me too.
Talking about be for the camera and do
Yes.
it. Oh no, I'd freak out. I'm,
Yeah,
I'm,
see
I'm a
it.
good backstage guy, but I'd be like frozen.
See, he's
I
my
don't
shipping
know.
guy. That's why.
All the chat is saying that this is a great idea, so I'm just saying it'd be a good
I
idea.
would watch the husbands of whatnot for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Everybody's like, yeah, let's do this. What are your long-term goals for Forever Young resellers? Where are you going to be in the future? What is this going to lead to for you?
Fingers crossed. In 3 to 6 months, I would love to do this full time. That would make my heart so happy. I have a long commute to work. So the hours spent there. I have grandbabies that I want to spend way more time with.
Aw.
So hopefully I have a goal set in mind, and once I can hit that goal consistently for 3 to 6 months, I think I'm gonna try to take the plunge.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think that would just make me happier. I would much rather be here with you guys every day than driving to work and home.
I'm right there with you. That is ultimately my goal too, but more for retirement because I'm closer to retirement age. Let's see, quick question. Can you share your show by messaging people you follow and follow back without going against? Actually, who's asked? Past perfect, present tense. That is, I consider that spam. If somebody just sends me their show, I don't even open those emails. I'm like, unless I know you, unless it's like somebody I've done business with or has been in my shows and I've created some type of relationship. Like right now, I just see Daisy Lane's name a couple down below you. If Daisy messaged me, messaged me and said, hey, I've got a show coming up, I would open that one because we've done business together. I've been in her show, she's been in mine. But just kind of blindly, I consider that spam. Anybody else in the chat have an opinion on that? Please throw it in there. Yeah, you get them frequently, but I don't know about you. I don't pay attention to those. Do you like those? I know being a new seller, you're going to see probably got a bunch of those right off the bat. Like just people sending their shows to you.
Yes, I feel the same way you do. I just consider it spam unless it's somebody I know that's like, hey, I'm doing a show, come see me. Then that's fine. But somebody I don't know, I don't even open them.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, y'all, I got to tell you a funny story. So I said at the beginning, I had just happened across Tina at Forever Young Resellers, had watched a couple shows, told my husband, like, hey, I want them to co-host. I want them to come on, interview them. So I sent her a message and I'm like, hey, I've been checking out your shows. I like your vibe. I think you'd be cool. And she sent me back the funny, I just cracked up when I read your message. It was just the sweetest, most innocent message. She's like, we're brand new. Are you sure you have the right people? And I'm like,
Are you
yes.
sure? Did you click on the right name? Are you sure?
Yeah, it was just the sweetest message. So I've been trying to watch other shows, just bring people in. So you're obviously in vintage, just like we are. But this is just kind of one of them. But trying to like branch out myself and see other shows. But in the future, I'm looking for people in other categories too, just so we can start meeting new people outside of our categories. We all tend to kind of travel in a circle. So let's see.
I call it the cluster effect. We all cluster together.
Yes. Well, I'm just trying to catch up on questions here. Cheryl, do we, okay, so we're talking about, yeah, everybody kind of agrees that just sending shows out. So Tracy Rocks, you've got a lot of great questions. I can see you're probably a new seller or about to be a new seller. And I'll answer some more after we're done with our interview. We'll get back and I'll answer some more of those questions. But thank you. Keep asking him. If I don't get back to it, just put it back in and remind me about it. All right, caught up. I see you have a shirt that says Dog Mom. Obviously, you have some babies. Tell us about your babies.
Yes, we are really active in animal rescue. So at any given time, I may have a foster dog, foster cat. We had some rescue chickens one time.
Wow.
Um, or we are down to one. We've lost a couple to cancer and old age. It happens. We loved them as much as we could while they were here. We're down to one, and he's 12. And he's the grandpa around here. He makes sure everybody's acting right. And then I think we have 5 cats. That yeah, if I see a cat starving, hungry, whatever, we're gonna feed you. So yes, anything, any pet whatsoever, any animal, we're there for it.
Oh, that's so sweet. I can't. I've been on my husband trying to get him to let me have a cat for the longest time. He's not an animal person, but I would love to have a cat. I've had animals in my life before I met him, so I'm working on it. I'm working
Well,
on it.
Gerald wasn't an animal person either, but we just don't give him a choice. That's the key to getting a cat. Just don't give him a choice. He's gonna show up home one day and you're gonna be like,
How
look what we have
cute.
now.
Yeah. And then don't.
Hooray.
I always hear. Then isn't it like the husband and the cat become best buddies, and then after that they're inseparable, right?
That is so true. If you were to walk in my house at night when the lights are down and we're just trying to get ready for bed, there will be at least 2 on him.
Aw.
So yeah, yeah. The big old guys don't let them fool you. Get your cat. Get your cat.
Good morning, Choco Dog. I see you pop in there. You said something earlier. I just want to go back to because it's a goal for so many of us on here. About you're saying, okay, I've got some goals set. If I can reach those goals for 2 or 3 months, then hopefully I can quit my day job and do this full time. I mean, so many people on here want to do that. And it's scary. I mean, I'm sure you're looking at it like, because a paycheck, you got to work for somebody else, and you're like, okay, every 2 weeks or whatever, I'm getting that paycheck in my bank. So that's kind of a scary proposition. But are you
Yeah.
kind of laying the groundwork? So it sounds like you've set some goals. You've kind of got like your business
Right.
plan set out for that.
And consistency. It has to be consistent. And I know the 4 quarters of the year, your sales are going to vary some. So I'm trying to keep that in my mind, and make sure I'm hitting the goals and not freaking out and being okay. Which I think if I wasn't working full time, I would have more time to source, more shows I could do. So I try to kind of, see what the balance would be.
Yeah, isn't that the hardest? And it's what I always tell my husband. I'm like, I feel that I'm at the point, I don't want to go full time now. Mine is more like in the future, kind of when I retire, I'm just setting the stage now for when I do retire. But I'm like, I can't go. I'll buy stuff at auction. It's hard to go pick stuff up at auction during the day when I'm supposed to be. I mean, I work at home, thank goodness. It gives me a little more flexibility than somebody who has to be at a physical location working. But it's so hard when you're doing the 9 to 5. And then on top of that, trying to get time for your shipping and for your, taking the photos and whatever else you're doing. So like efficiency plays so much into that. Like,
For sure.
I don't know if you follow this couple, another husband and wife team, but it's Mrs. Big Papa Pump. She just quit her full-time job. She was a guest a couple of weeks ago on the show. She just quit her full-time job, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago and went full-time. So doing the exact same thing. It's Mrs. Big Papa Pump. Her husband was Mr. Big Papa Pump, and then he was a seller, and then he was a buyer. I don't know. He did a show, but she saw him and she's like, "Oh, this is cool. I can do this." And then she kind of took over. So, but they're
That's
great. But
awesome.
they did the exact same thing you're talking about. So maybe someone you want to watch too if you're.
I will definitely, if I'm not already
Yeah.
following, I will follow right
Yes.
after the show.
And she's hilarious too. You both of you kind of similar, from at least me watching, similar personalities. Both y'all are just hilarious and crack me up in your shows. Is it just me, or could y'all be sisters? I don't know, maybe. Open floor. What do you want to talk about? Advice, thoughts, just pet peeves about whatnot. Anything you want to say? Tell us.
Oh, pet peeves about whatnot. I have a big one. You will hear me say on my shows, whatnot be whatnotting. And what I mean by that is I will load inventory, go to do a show, inventory's gone. Or I will have 20 bookmarks. This happened Wednesday morning. I had 40 bookmarks on my show. I was so excited because for me, that's a lot. And I was so excited, and I get on there, and nobody can get in my show. People can't hear me when I talk. It was a total disaster because Whatnot was just having its moment, and that's part of it. That is
Yeah.
literally the only pet peeve I have about it. Sometimes Whatnot be Whatnotting,
Mhm.
but compared to like larger platforms, this is still kind of in its infancy.
Mhm.
So I know they're going to work through some things, and there's going to be some issues. But if that's the worst thing that happens, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, me too. I mean, this morning my earbuds weren't working. I mean, there's always technical issues, and
There's
sometimes
something
Whatnot
to
is
go
just
on.
glitchy. They're just, but I totally agree. I am in love with Whatnot,
Yeah,
just like you're explaining it.
love it.
Yeah, I love it too. Um, any questions? Any questions for me, or anything else? I mean, I hate to throw you on the spot there, but
I know. Sellers, just do it. Have fun. Be
Mhm.
yourself. If you are trying to put on some fancy airs or be something you're not, people's going to see it. I'm a hot mess. This is what you get. Am I everyone's cup of tea? No, but that's okay. There's so many people out there that are going to like you and going to be there for you. So just do it. Be organized. When we started out, we were not, and it was even more of a hot mess express than normal. We were running around like chickens. It was crazy. So be organized. Have fun. Have fun. Have fun. And reach out to your community. Get that tribe of people that if you have a question, you can go to. And most of the sellers on here, if you have a question and reach out to them, they're going to try to help you.
Oh yeah. What I think this is really important because you've touched on a lot of like key things that I think the new sellers go through. But you said at the beginning you weren't super organized, and you're like, okay, we got to fix this. What are some of the things you
Yes.
like realize that hey, I can't do it this way, and how did you fix it? Because I think a lot of sellers, new sellers, face that hurdle.
Um, One of the things was listing, even if I don't put a number in front of it, which Gerald's been getting on to me about. He said you need to be numbering this, but let's face it, come on. Just getting everything listed, accurately listed, and on the shelf.
Hmm.
If it's not listed in my inventory, it's not going on the shelf because we made the mistake of having stuff listed in our first few shows that maybe was in the dining room. So we'd have to scurry over there and grab it and come back, or maybe it was still sitting on the bar where we had cleaned it up and
Hmm.
everything. So my thing is, if it's in the inventory, it goes on the shelf. If not, it does not go on the shelf, and that's the way I keep it organized. I know a lot of sellers also, like when they sell, they'll number and put the tape
Hmm.
on that item. Um, I don't do that because Gerald's my shipper, so he has the headache of doing that. So I'm blessed with that. He has to
Yeah.
figure it out after the show when I have stuff all over the floor, countertop.
Hmm.
Um, but yes, just say it makes your life easier if you're not running around looking for stuff.
Absolutely.
Because then you get all nervous and you're like, ugh,
You do, and it's stressful because like you don't want to keep people waiting, and it's just kind of this. And I think I went
right.
through the same lesson. It took me probably a little bit longer. You learned it really fast, it seems like. But I have kind of the same process. I do everything in my basement, so it comes downstairs, but it doesn't go into my storage unit until I've
Mhm.
either taken a photograph or listed it or determined what show it's going to. Like there's a
Right.
process to it, and it's
Because
you
if
know
not, you'll just go crazy with everything everywhere, and that'll build your anxiety as a new seller.
absolutely. I realized that I was trying to get ready for a show one day, and I'm walking through like I have a unfinished area of my basement that's shelved where I house everything, and I was walking through and I noticed like I don't know what's listed and what's not listed. I don't know what I've done with this. So it was just kind of like this. Okay, everything's coming out. We're figuring this out type moment.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
So, um, all right. I think with that, we're going to let you get back to your day because I know you have a day job. Y'all,
I
this
do.
is for you. This is Miss Tina, Forever Young Resellers. Her and her husband Gerald, husband and wife team. They're amazing, you guys. They're on consistently Wednesday mornings early. Oops, just lost my earbud. Consistently on Wednesdays early morning. What time is it? 4:45. You said.
3:45 Central, 4:45 Eastern.
So 4:45 Eastern until around 7 usually, right? Usually it seems
Yes.
like okay. Um,
Hmm.
So, and then sometimes there's pop-ups at night. So give them a bookmark. Their name's on the screen. We'll also throw it in the chat there again, so you can tag. You can just click and make it nice and easy for you. And last time I checked, there were shows scheduled out. So you can go ahead and
Yes.
go get bookmarks in. And she does pre-list, so it's easy to put your pre-bids in on things too. So don't forget you can do that. All right. Thank you so much. I enjoyed having you
Thank
here.
you. No, thank you for what you do for new sellers,
You're
and
welcome.
we really do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. We'll see you at your next show.
Bye.
Bye. All right, you guys. She is amazing. She is awesome. And if you have never watched their shows, she does crack me up. She just makes jokes all the time, gives her husband a hard time. And, you know, what's better than giving your husband a hard time, right? Good morning, Wildflowers. All right. Earlier, can I turn this off, honey? Because this is like, okay. And how do I turn this off? There we go. All right, we're going to do that. Sorry. I was seeing myself in my iPad right here, and I'm like, that's a little distracting. Y'all, so we're going to be doing more seller, like meeting sellers maybe that have been existing for a while. But I want to do some more cross category. I love trying to bring people into the show that maybe you haven't had a chance to meet yet. Sometimes we're going to bring people in that we've all known, but I just think it's kind of cool to get to know people that way. It is a social, a social app, but I don't like the drama side of it. I like the fun side of meeting new people. So we're going to try to do that a little more often. So we were talking earlier, I kind of started to mention it when I was trying to fill some time there, was don't just be a seller, but also buy occasionally. If you're just coming in, I got a hodgepodge of topics today. I don't have really a thought through kind of full, like one major topic. I got a bunch of little topics. Good morning, Home Decor from the Heart. How are you? But don't just be a seller, be a buyer occasionally. And I don't say that to say go spend all your money, but we learn from other sellers, and putting yourself in that buying role. It is an egg dish. Let's see. This is from my personal collection. So it's an amber egg dish that I put up for sale once, and then I'm like, no, this is mine because it's beautiful. But Southern Charm, you know me. If we're in a show and somebody asks for something, I'll probably sell it anyways. But putting yourself in that buyer's role lets you experience it from both sides and helps you provide better customer service to your buyers by understanding what they're going through. So I highly suggest every now and then buying something. Yeah, too late. I always say I buy too much. Now, I mean, yeah, you feel free, go shopping with all the sellers, buy all the things. But if you don't, just try to do it every now and then. Choco Dog, I've learned that if I can't afford to buy, a tip for $1 or $5. And that's a great idea. I mean, there's so many ways to support other sellers, and it's not just buying. And I'm not even talking about supporting at this point. It's more just for you as a seller to learn from other sellers. Like, be in that buyer's perspective to see what it's like on the other side. I think it just opens up your eyes to a lot of different things and what can go wrong and what goes right and how people do things. Speaking of, again, I have a hodgepodge of thoughts today, so I apologize. It's not super organized. Let's talk about boxes. Let's talk about not so much shipping, but boxes. I am all for recycling boxes. Those of you who, I've seen a lot of my people who buy from me here, like you'll get Amazon boxes, you'll get, various boxes that we get in, all about recycle. But at the same time, we've got to remember, if the integrity of the box is compromised in any way, to not reuse that box. And that it's your business image. Everything you send out is your business image. I love discounts. You don't like my little dummy boxes. Actually, I reused one of your boxes. What was it? I think it was a popcorn box. I'm pretty sure I got it from you. And then I packed something in it, and I'm pretty sure I sent it to Southern Charm. And I think I love discounts. I think with you, it's a little bit different. You own a grocery store. That is your business. It's the circle of life. Absolutely. But that is your business. And in essence, you're advertising your business by reusing those boxes from your grocery store. Those of us who don't have grocery stores, though, I don't think there's anything wrong with it if the box looks nice. I just want to bring to mind to remember that this is your business image that you're sending out. So whatever it says on the box, how the condition of the box, how that box looks, it's like a first impression again. I mean, when you get a package from somebody, it's just something that's been on my mind lately as I've been buying different things and seeing different things coming in. Remember, no alcohol boxes. So if you're new, I did not know this, and I took an alcohol box all labeled up and ready to go at the post office, and she just laughed in my face. My postmaster, sweetest lady ever, she's just like, yeah, you can't do that. I didn't know this. That's not like something that everybody just instinctively knows. Or chemical box. There you go. I did not know you can't use chemical boxes. Thank you, Southern Charm. Clorox wipes get turned down for me. So I guess that's a chemical. I guess I would consider chemical, which is weird because I can get alcohol delivered to the house. That is weird. Isn't that weird? But I don't know why they won't accept it. I'm sure there's some federal law against it somewhere. But I mean, these are things that sometimes as new sellers, we don't know. A lot of stuff I talk about because I made the mistake myself, or it's something I'm struggling with myself that I'm trying to work through. The other thing, cereal boxes, food boxes that aren't the cardboard ones. I'm not talking about the box that's filled with little Debbie boxes, not the outside cardboard, but the actual thinner cardboard. They're not shipping boxes. I see sellers. There are certain sellers I see who are like, oh yeah, you can use cereal boxes. They're not shipping boxes. They are not made to ship. They are not strong enough. Your item is not protected in a cereal box, which I think I'm probably preaching to the choir. Most of you already know this. So I guess it's aimed more towards some of the new people who are just learning things. So let's see. On boxes. Shop with Shell says you need to black out everything, which is time consuming. Now I've heard that you don't have to black out. I don't black out anything unless there's like a barcode or an address label or something that would get it confused. Different states have different laws about alcohol. That's interesting, Daisy Lane. I was not aware of that.
Any indication of batteries that contain chemicals that has to be blocked off?
Yeah, so those hazardous labels on there. WB Mason, so Scuba Stevio says WB Mason has 12 by 12 by 12, 14 by 14 boxes, not too expensive. Good to know. I do the Boxery a lot too. I'm going to check out, I'm writing them down because I'm always looking for better deals on boxes. WB Mason. I'm going to go check out their website and see. I've been kind of stuck on the Boxery, only because I think their prices to me are pretty decent. They're cheaper than Amazon, and Amazon actually sells the Boxery boxes. So I just go straight to the Boxery, but they do charge for shipping. Even when I've analyzed it, I felt that I've got them cheaper there. I was told for hazardous, the red warning stripe needs to be covered. Yes, I've heard the same thing. If it has hazardous, unless it truly has a hazardous thing, which you should be marking on your label and whatnot. Good morning, Mrs. Big Papa Pump. We were talking about you. I had another guest on my show this morning, and her goal is to quit her full-time job and quit her current full-time job and do what? Not full-time. So I told her she should go and watch you, that you have just recently done that. Boxes at Walmart. So shop with shelves. Walmart boxes are fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with them, but you guys know if you buy in bulk, it's going to be cheaper. In the long run, yes, you're putting out more of an expense up front, but in the long run, it's cheaper to buy in bulk. Let's see. And clothes hanging out of the box. Oh my God, yeah. Please don't let clothes hang out of the box. Let's see. Please, if you sell clothes, put clothes in a bag before you put it in a box. I did a lot of my school shopping with lots of wet clothes. That's right. When we're packing our stuff, if you're not using saran wrap or putting it in another bag or putting it in another box, we don't know if it's pouring down rain. I don't have a covered porch. I mean, I have one of those big Amazon box, like, what are they called? They're like the delivery boxes where they put your package in securely. I have that on my porch. But if the box is too big, it doesn't fit. It could be pouring down rain here. You never know what weather it's going to go through. Absolutely protect your items inside the box. Again, it's about making that buyer happy when they get your stuff at the end of the day, right? All right, that's kind of dead. That was my thing on boxes. I think the only real thing that I have, like the big topic I had today, are words are powerful. Leslie from A Reworker's Passion talked a little bit about this, about the words you use, and it got me thinking. And then I went and did some research, and I was really like, wow, this is really a good topic for us as sellers. And even buyers, because it's how you perceive the words as the buyer. So I just kind of wanted to touch on it because I don't think it's something we talk about a lot. And I don't say this is what, like, in a way of, oh, say this, don't say this, do this, don't do this. But as I started to like do some research and get this list together, I'm like, wow, I say that all the time. I didn't realize it may carry that connotation. And I'm not talking about cuss words or racial words. We all know we shouldn't, be careful about those type of things. But I'm talking about words in particular. And here's two. I'm going to focus on women for a minute. If you're a guy, please hang out. Don't go anywhere. Maybe pitch in and give us your thoughts on this too. But there's two things that women say a lot, more predominantly women say. The first one is the word just. We use just. Oh, it's just a coffee cup, but it has pretty donuts on it. It's just this. It's just that. As obviously the word just comes from justify, so we use it to justify things. But it has a connotation that it makes our items, it almost devalues, minimizes the value that we're bringing to an item. It's kind of a common filler word, like less than. Yeah, that's a great way to explain it. And if you listen, I mean, now that I'm going to say this, you guys are going to be going into shows and you're going to be like, oh, they just said just. They, it's kind of like when you buy a certain type of car, that's all you see on the road. This is what's going to happen, I'm sure. But try removing it. Try removing it. You, Auntie Billy, you are one step ahead of me, ma'am. Or sir, I'm guessing, ma'am, but because it says Auntie. Yes, you are one step ahead of me. But using just try, there it goes. See, naturally it came out. Try to remove it. Try saying whatever you're saying without the word just in it. It makes it more strong, what you're saying. The other one is I'm sorry. As women, particularly women, we tend to apologize for things all the time that don't need an apology. You didn't do anything wrong, so why would you apologize? For example, the big one, you're in a show, you're selling something, somebody puts in the chat, hey, do you have, I don't know, a green mug that glows on Tuesdays? And you're like, oh, I'm so sorry, I don't have it. Why are you sorry? What about if we just said, not today, but I think I may have one next week's show. Or not today, but XYZ seller over here, I saw one in their show last week. Maybe they still have it. Like we will apologize for things, and it makes us, it like diminishes us. It's not positive. It's not affirming. It's this kind of like this shrinking thing. I wish I was more eloquent in the way I can explain it. But there is a legit time when we screw up, we all do it, we're human, that we absolutely need to apologize because we screwed something up. But in general, we're not going around screwing stuff up all day long. We don't need to apologize for everything. Be positive, be affirming. I don't have that today, but I may have that in my next show. Or that's not an item I normally carry because I can't get it in the in the area of the country that I'm in. So just kind of, I say that to keep that in the back of your mind as we're talking. These are two phrases that I know I say all the time. And this was eye-opening to me when I was like, because that's my first response when somebody asks for something and I say, oh, I'm sorry, I don't have it. Well, why am I sorry? I've been busting my butt sourcing. I didn't do anything wrong. It's more like, I don't have that. I may have it, or I do have it in my next show, or whatever it is. When you're running an auction, say, I know someone will love this versus Daisy Lane, what a great point. See, and this is kind of where this whole thing is getting to, is putting a positive, affirming spin on what you're saying, and not to be deceiving. But look at what Daisy Lane says here. When you're running an auction, instead of saying, I know someone will love this, versus in case you're interested, just in case, you don't have to buy it, or I know somebody's going to love this mug. Check this out. A good person to watch for this is Green 13. I have been studying him a lot just because I think I'm very attracted to other women with a business type mindset and come across like that. And then obviously men who are very articulate, and he is one of them in his business thoughts. I've been watching his shows. Have you guys ever realized, okay, so he has some stuff on screen, but every time he picks something up, it is the coolest thing he has ever seen. But he does it in such a genuine, he's like, wow, look at the color of this pen. And it has a removable lid. Like, he's very, legit. It's always this positive, this affirming, this, ooh, I want that, right? He's never like, oh, I'm sorry, or I don't know if anybody's interested in this. I have never heard those words come out of his mouth. So I'm so glad, Daisy, that you pointed that comment out. Oh, here, my husband has a story. Why don't you come over here on camera and share it, honey?
I'll be on camera. Give me 1 moment. All right, here I am. So I was watching Jeremy's show a few days ago, and they were talking about food, and someone was eating cantaloupe, and he doesn't like cantaloupe. So he said, "Oh, that's disgusting. That smells like garbage." So they said, "No, sell the cantaloupe." And he said, "Okay, I'll sell the cantaloupe. I'll sell whatever." He grabbed a piece, a slice as small as this of cantaloupe, put it up for sale. Immediately, I thought, hey, if I buy it, you eat it. And what he said immediately was, if it hits $40, I'll eat it. It went for $43. Tell me that. How can someone sell a slice of cantaloupe just like that? Also, I love discounts. I love discounts. Tony sold a single cashew. Great sellers. Great sellers.
It's all in the, not just the environment. We talk about a lot about the environment we create, but it's the words that are being used and the excitement. I'm like blown away when I watch certain people and their selling technique, and I'm constantly trying to learn. Yeah, the cashew was funny. Now, we're talking about sellers. I love discounts. Jeremy, I mean, they're, I would say, bigger sellers. They get room counts of 100 or, to 200 on a regular basis, which to some of us, that's a huge room count. But neither one of them are the sellers that have 1,000 people in their shows, okay? I mean, 100, 200 is a really great room count. But just keep that in mind. Like 200 people out of the whole whatnot world is not a lot of people, right? And to sell a single cashew or to sell a slice of watermelon, that person's going to get a sticker. They're not going to get that watermelon. It's gone. He ate it, right? It's skill. It's talent. It's years of experience building up to that and learning and studying. So that's kind of why, that's what I'm drawn to, is like going through this. And that's why I like to try to bring this stuff to you if I can. Auntie Billy, I joined Toastmasters. We counted filler words and it made me more aware. I still do it, but less than before. And I haven't even been a Toastmasters member in years. Exactly. We all use filler words. And I mean, I'm not even sure what mine are. I'm sure my regular people could tell me these are your filler words because it's easier to see when you're watching somebody. I get stuck on adjectives. Ramona Y, I am there with you all the time. For me, everything is, I try to stay away from cute and super cute, but I do a lot of, oh, this is stunning. This is beautiful. But then you're like, oh my gosh, how many more ways can I describe something? I've even thought about, like, I have things here I could tape adjectives to try to describe stuff. Like is another filler word. Exactly. Here's the other one I want to talk about. Oh, what am I missing? Let's see. Let me just catch up. Jeremy actually mailed a piece of chicken to someone. Did he? I missed that. Wow. I wonder, did it get there? Was it nasty when it got there? The word literally. Oh, yes, I say that. I literally did. Yep. Yep. Oh, my gosh. So it's the way you do it. And I would highly recommend Green 13, Jeremy. His sales technique, it's like he has just spent years perfecting it. And again, I don't buy jewelry very often. Every now and then we'll buy, but I watch a lot of his jewelry shows to learn, just to learn. And not that we're exactly copying, but we can learn from other sellers without stealing their style, right? We can learn what works, what doesn't work, what are we attracted to, what other people seem to be attracted to. All right, I think I'm caught up. If I'm not missing any, wrote a bunch of adjectives on note cards and tossed them on my table out of sight. There you go, good idea. My husband doesn't like when I say something came from my collection. He says it sounds like I didn't like it. Crick and Nick, my husband says the same thing too. When he sits right over here where he's just like in my line of vision, and I'll say certain things and I see him going, don't say that. And I'm like, what am I saying? It makes me nervous when he does it. But yeah, my husband's the same way. He doesn't like me to say it's from my collection, but I feel like it's okay. I'm being honest. I'm like, this is literally, I love discounts from my collection. I don't think it carries a bad connotation, but again, we never know how people are perceiving it, right? Oh, he has something more to say. Let the man have his space.
So I'm gonna quote one of my mentors. He used to say this all the time. And so, and forgive me, Ms. Michelle, every time something that was not up to par came, he would used to say, Georgia, high five.
You know what? That's what I have to say to you. All right. I think it makes it more desirable too. When it comes from my collection, it's something that I loved and cared about. So I'm hoping you're going to love and care about it too. Exactly. If we aren't on here, be honest, we all have collections. We do. I mean, and I heard it only takes 3 things to consider it a collection. If that's the case, I have thousands of collections. I don't know if that's a true statement, but I heard that. I've been on here for a year and I want to try to do other types of shows besides the main kind of shows. I'm just wondering any suggestions. JJ's Bargain Bin, what do you mean by the main type? There's a lot of sellers just listed here in the chat that do game shows, they do trivia, they do various things in their shows. Some do bin shows, some do fast-paced liquidation. So there's all kinds of different things you can do. Reclaim vintage. Oh my gosh, I'm a hoarder. I know. I heard that. 3 things makes a collection. I'm like, oh my goodness. If you ask me what I collect, then I'll be here all day telling you. Let's see. Right. I sell because I have too much, not because I don't like it. Exactly. It was something I cared about and I want to bring it to the table. Right. All right. Here's the other thing that I think we should, this isn't maybe not necessarily something we say, but I think it's kind of, it's words and an attitude mixed together. Someday I am, someday I will, someday whatever. Do you have a vision or a mission? When I hear somebody say someday, that's what comes to my mind. Do you have a vision or do you have a mission? Is this just a pipe dream? Is this just something that's in the back of your head? Or are you on a mission? Is this someday something goals? Are you setting goals? And then if that's the case, it's not someday. It's in 6 months, I'm going to do this, whatever that is. So kind of think about that. What do you need to do to get to that someday? If you continually hear yourself say someday this, someday, maybe set some goals to it, set some action plans and remove that someday and figure out when that's going to be, even if it's 5 or 10 years down the road. Speak it with conviction. That's right. Exactly. So someday isn't really one of those words that like that have to do with selling, but it's part of our attitude. So, and my husband kind of put it this way, and I loved it when he said, do you have a vision or do you have a mission? And I really liked that. That resonated with me. You're failing to plan when you're planning to fail, 100%. All right, so some of the other things about words, no negative words. So we try to avoid anything negative, right? No, can't, problem. So we want to focus on solutions and opportunities. Somebody asked you, hey, do you have that thing that glows every Tuesday? Not in this show, but I do have it in my next show. So taking anything instead of, no, I don't carry that. No, I can't get that. And I do this myself, like uranium glass. I just did it earlier with Miss Tina on Forever Young Resellers. We were talking about uranium, like it's so hard to get. So instead of that, oh, it's so hard to get, or, I see it at auction every week. A lot of times I'm outbid, but I'm really going to try to get it next time, or whatever it may be. It's putting that positive spin. JJ's Bargain. I mainly do movie shows. I meant by category shows. I do 3 to 5 shows a day, every day. Oh, there's so many ideas. You guys, if you have ideas that you can put in, 3 to 5 shows every day is a ton of shows. I can't imagine the amount of energy you have. Congratulations. Whatever you're eating or doing, I need to do that. But yeah, if you guys have ideas, I'll kind of start thinking in the back of my mind while I'm talking. Eye for Beauty. Don't say, oh, I just sold one. Exactly. Because that's kind of like this negative. Oh, you guys, I forgot to do any giveaways today. Did I even load giveaways? I didn't even load giveaways. All right, we're not going to do giveaways today. We're just going to talk. We can talk about giveaways too. But real quick, Eye for Beauty just said, don't just say I sold one. 100%. You just shut it down. You just ended that, what could have been a possible future sale. Instead of I just sold one, you could follow that up with that positive and affirmation. I just sold one, but I know where I can get another one, or I will keep my eye out and message you the minute I see one, right? We're giving it that positive spin.
Good morning, Miss Leslie.
Good morning, every Worker's Passion. You got me thinking. I'm talking about words and how our words are powerful because you said something in your show the other day about words that we use, and it got me thinking. So I did some research and I wrote down a bunch of notes. So we're talking about words. Is it wrong to say this is the last one I have, or I sold a lot of these on other platforms? I would try to avoid I sold a lot of these on other platforms, but pointing out that this is the last of something creates scarcity, could possible like that FOMO. I don't think that's bad. I would love to hear from other buyers in the room if you feel that that's gimmicky or bad when somebody says, hey, this is the last one of these that I have. How do you feel about that? So when somebody says, do you have X, Y, or Z? We've talked about it. Oh, I do have that. It's not in my show today, but it's in my show for next Wednesday, whatever it may be, something like that. It's just like on your resume, right? Oh, I'm always on the lookout. That's a great response, Missy. I'm always on the lookout for that particular item. But it's just like on a resume. I like to relate everything to real life, not just online selling. The last one is, yes, this is the last one, but don't talk about other platforms. So I think we're all kind of sharing, a lot of us seem to be sharing that same consensus. Tracy, hold on really quick. I want to say, it's just like on your resumes. When you write a resume, maybe you're only someplace for 6 months and maybe you weren't the boss, but you did a lot of supervisory duties. You're going to put the most positive light on that resume. The same thing when we're selling. We don't want to use the negative connotations about it, where we want to put the most positive spin on things. Let's talk about giveys real quick, and then Tracy will get to your question. What do you want to talk about giveys? Should we do them? Should we not do them? I'll tell you my opinion. I love giveys for talk shows. For me personally, I usually only do them for this show. I failed to do them today because I forgot to load them. I was up late last night. My fault. We'll do some next week. Me for giveys on selling shows, I have nothing against them if they're part of your planned out business plan. If strategically you have built that as an expense into your business planning, by all means do giveys. But giveys are an expense. Never lose sight that it is an expense to you as a business owner. I don't think giveys always relate to buyers. I have seen a lot of times that my giveys don't relate to buyers. I like to do them in this show because when I have a giveaway winner in this show that is never bought from me, I also send them a coupon in hopes that they will come to one of my shows and buy from me. So that's how I use them strategically in this show, in the chat shows. But in general, for me, I'd rather funnel that money that I would put into a giveaway into something else that benefits more buyers. Free shipping, reduced starting bids, reduced shipping, things along those nature. Hopefully I answered your question. If you have more specific question on Givey, please put it in there and we'll try to answer it. Let's see, the next question I see is Tracy. Since Whatnot doesn't pay for shipping on Giveys, do you just do something small to slip in their package? So a plain white envelope. So this is my Givey box for chat shows. As you can see, it is filled with a bunch of plain white envelopes. And I have just pre-done these and I fill them up with various things from gift cards to bookmarks to old postcards. And these cost me 73 cents to ship out. That's my preferred way of doing a Givey. If you're not doing a plain white envelope, you're paying $4 and some change, like $4.50, which to me is a little expensive. Wildflower Sue, when doing a show and someone makes an offer on an item in the bin and I didn't see it, yes, you can still accept their offers are good for like 30 days, I think. So you can still accept the offer after the show. That's totally fine. That is one of my biggest pet peeves with Whatnot, is that there is no, at least I haven't, if you guys know of a way, let me know, easy way to see the offers. Like, I know you can click on a computer up on the button, there's an offers button, but it's like Whatnot doesn't flash it on the screen. They don't tell me. Maybe they do flash it and I miss it. I always seem to be like after the show I see the offers. So I wish it was more prominent for me to know when someone makes an offer. I for Beauty, I will screenshot your name and tag you when I get one or see one in another show. That's a great response to somebody asking, hey, do you have, X, Y, or Z item? Missy, another point too, instead of doing actual giveaways, if you want to put trinkets in boxes, I used to do that. I used to put a lot of stickers and a little plastic duck in every shipment. And I kind of miss it. Honestly, I kind of miss doing that. But at the same time, I've chosen to take that money and funnel it into other ways to benefit my buyers. Reclaimed vintage. I haven't done a giveaway, but if I get a raid, I will start something really nice for $1. Reclaimed vintage, that is my favorite thing to do. And I actually learned that from Jeremy at Green 13, is you have like seconds to engage those people. You get 40 or 50 people flooding into your room. You have seconds to engage them. Putting a 5-minute giveaway doesn't necessarily mean they're going to stay there for 5 minutes, because if you're not engaging or an item or something is not catching their attention, they're just going to swipe right out. They were for the other person's show, right? There is nothing saying that they want to be in your show. They didn't pick it themselves. So you need to communicate to them in some way why they should stay in your show. The minute you get a raid, it's your job as a seller to make them want to stay. A 5-minute givey, to me, doesn't make them want to stay. Unless you're giving away a swung vase or something that's like fantastic, which I would not recommend, by the way. But if you do you, it's not going to make me stay. What is going to make me stay is, oh, thanks for the raid. I'm Tracy from Zoe's Treasures, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to run this for $1. We're about to run it for $16, but I'm about to run it for $1 in honor of that raid. It's trying to give them something of value instantly. Have an item ready. Have something. Have a giveaway item that you run only on giveaways. And then if you want to add on not a giveaway, sorry, that you run for $1, add on a giveaway later on if you want. But I think you have very little time and you need to catch them. I saw a seller, this is Auntie Billy. I saw a seller who didn't have a requested item, but then immediately asked chat if anyone watching had that item for sale in their Whatnot marketplace. Auntie Billy, I love that. I have done that myself on occasion where somebody will ask for something and it's like, I do not have that item in stock, but if anybody in chat does, please message them. My only thing about that is I ask my room, please DM them, message it on the side. I don't necessarily want to advertise like, hey, everybody leave my show and go to this show or go, so I'm kind of like, I'm willing to share the love. I just don't want a whole conversation about where you can go buy things similar to what I have in another show. Daisy Lane, you must show the item. Can't say you will love what I say. Exactly. Any giveaways have to be shown. That's terms of service. That's not Tracy's opinion. That is Whatnot's terms of service. All giveaways have to be shown on the screen. And you have to disclose it because that's a way of keeping you honest as a seller. That rule is put in place to keep you honest, to say, oh, I'm gonna send something really cool, and then you end up with the Temu sticker. No, it's put there for a reason. No more ducks, Southern Charm. I'm just getting to the end of my messages. Thank you, country. I'll call you Courtney. The other day we were watching, who was calling you Courtney? I forget who it was, but I'm like, I totally get why they're calling you Courtney because I look at your name and almost say the same thing. Let's see. Can we talk about things that make us swipe out of shows? We can, but I want to try to keep it kind of positive here. And there are things that we create an environment, right? So let's put a positive spin on this. This is something I've talked a lot. We have this box, right? This is the vibe, the environment we're creating. We have a space like this to create that in. Everything about this space is going to attract or deter buyers. Your lighting, your music, your sound, what's behind you, what you're wearing. I'm sorry, you show up in a bathrobe and, the girls are kind of hanging out. I don't find that attractive. I'm like, how serious are you? That's my personal opinion. I'm like, So everything about the vibe you create. My husband has something to say.
So, any person can sell the same or a similar item in any platform. But what cannot do is replicate who you are and the environment that you create for your audience. That's totally up to you.
Absolutely. It is creating a feeling. People don't buy, they buy certain things logically. I love discounts. I'm so jealous of you because people buy your products like there is a constant need to come back and buy your products. People need toothpaste. People need the health and beauty items. So But for those of us who don't sell things that people need, and you sell some want items too, but you've got this niche consumables, yeah, that people like. You're always going to need to brush your teeth, right? Or, and I'm just picking on toothpaste because it's an easy example. For niche people don't need to buy vintage. This is a want. It's not a need. This is a want. This is, I collect it, I like it, I want it, I have to have disposable income in order to buy it, right? So it's a feeling that you create. I can't just go on a need. I can't go on people who are in my show because they absolutely just need this little amber glass bowl in their life or they're going to die without it, right? They're going to have stinky breath and stinky armpits if they don't have this bowl. It doesn't work that way. So we, especially in the niche markets, you need to buy vintage. I kind of feel a need to sometimes, but let's face it, right? That Spanish art class. Okay, I'm going to divert for a second just because I Love Discounts mentioned it. Y'all, Battle of the Best is this weekend. This is Spanish art glass. This is my battle item. It is a pair. You get both of them. I'm looking for it. This one is signed right here. This one is actually signed by the artist. Are they not gorgeous? They're just the most beautiful things ever. They're only at $21 right now, so you have plenty of room to get a great deal. I'm afraid to ship this one a little bit, but we'll make it work. I'll do it right. But they are hand-painted, and they are stunning. And they are up for bid right now in my Battle of the Best show, which is Sunday, by the way. All right, so let me make sure I don't drop these. Okay. We have to create a feeling. Our buyers are, when you're a niche seller, buyers buy their emotional buys, their feelings. So we need to create that feeling. We create it by the atmosphere that they come into. Who we are, like my husband said, nobody's going to replace you. There's a ton of people out here selling amber glass, selling primitives, selling French country, blue and white stuff. There's a bunch of us on here, but it's the vibe we create within our shows that keeps people coming back. I need to say, hold on, I'm missing stuff. Let me go back and see what I'm missing. Go ahead, honey.
These B Square Trading Post, this is what I was talking about on how we do this. So you can see our version of the podcast. Also, great resellers, everybody. He's got some of the greatest collections. He's really into curating his collections, whether they're Transformers or vintage toys or horror pieces of art. Check him out and check their podcast, B Square Trading Post.
All right. And just as a side note here, if we call out a seller, if we specifically name a seller and say that, like, go check them out, I quit doing paid sponsorships because I wanted to have my word mean something. We're talking about words. My word means something when I recommend somebody. So we don't recommend people just because we got a paid sponsorship. That's the biggest reason why I quit them, is that when myself or my husband recommend somebody, it's because we've been in their shows, we've watched them, we've bought from them. So we have some type of relationship that we're like, we believe in that person. Just kind of side note. I'm going to get caught up here. I'm working my way down the chat. I was watching a clothing show last night and the music was so loud, the seller had to come to the phone and scream. It's so annoying. One, make sure it's royalty free. Don't break terms of service, right? Every time we break a whatnot rule, they just have to create another rule. The more rules we break, the more rules they're going to create. So let's just follow them. Let's just be good whatnot stewards here and do what's right. Additionally, if you don't use a microphone, you don't need to use a microphone. There is nothing saying you have to. But keep in mind, if you're just using a phone and you turn your back to go and get something, your voice becomes muffled. The farther away you move, the harder it is to hear you. So just know that if you're just using a phone, make sure you're facing it so that it picks up your voice, because it becomes hard for your audience to hear when you turn around. Let's see. Trying to catch up on chat. What am I missing? Oh, thank you so much. Okay. I think I'm caught up. If you guys have questions, put them in there. I want to have some other words that I feel are powerful words. My husband will throw it in the chat. He does all the technology for mics. So this is the one I have on now. I don't know what it is. He'll put it in there. I have a vintage and clothing show coming up. What category should I use? I don't. Do we have a vintage clothing category? I don't know if we do, but vintage. I've seen vintage clothing sellers in vintage. Um, yeah, I would say vintage is fine. Vintage decor. If you guys know of another category, please put it in there. There is one. Okay, so yeah, there's a vintage clothing category. That would be a perfect spot for it. Thank you, Old Maid New Creations. So other thing, words of uncertainty. So we should try to be careful with our words of uncertainty. I can't even say it. What are those? Probably, I think, I believe, and I do this. And when I was reading this, I'm like, oh, I do this all the time. But they all suggest doubt in your buyer's mind. So we want to be careful with using words of uncertainty. And I realize that I do this a lot, particularly with ironstone or certain glass pieces that I think I'm like, maybe there's no maker's mark, but I'm like 98% sure it's ironstone. But I'm so concerned about giving misleading information that I say, I think it's ironstone. Well, if I say, I think it's ironstone, I believe it's ironstone, I'm giving that, like I'm expressing that 2% of I don't know, right? That maybe, maybe not. Does that, if you're looking for ironstone, does that make you want to buy it? You're kind of like, is it not? If she has it in her hands and she can't tell, what am I going to get, right? That's kind of the impression I'm probably giving when I do that. So this is an area that I'm particularly going to be focused on for myself. Instead, words like this appears to be is a lot more positive and affirming than I think, right? So trying to think of the way to spin it. Yeah, Southern Charm, you use it all the time. I do it too. Feels like is another one. Yeah. So, and I didn't even realize I did that until I read this, and I'm like, wow, that's really something to think about. Because I don't know about you guys, but I'm always trying to improve what I'm doing in some way, shape, or form. I'm either trying to be more organized, more efficient, improve my selling. I mean, we can't just be stagnant. We can't just sit here and do the same thing over and over and over again and then wonder why we're not growing. So this is just a way that I am choosing to focus on the selling part and improving myself going forward. So just being cautious of words of uncertainty. Again, those are words like probably, I think, I believe. They suggest doubt. Instead, this appears to be, this feels like this. How about words that undermine trust? What words do you feel when you're a buyer, if the seller says it, you're kind of like, you get that feeling of, ooh, do I trust this person? Coming from you, those words sound, oh, well, thank you, Cynthia. I appreciate that. I'm still going to try to work on them, though. Yes, by rewatching your shows, the only way you're going to catch these is if you're being very self-reflective or you're sitting back and watching your shows. I'm like most of you, I hate watching myself. My husband will go back and rewatch our shows constantly. And I'm so glad he does, because he picks up on things and he's like, honey, we need to fix this. We need to change this. I hate watching myself, but it's such a good way to learn. It really is. But I never rewatch a show. I know I'm getting a little more comfortable now, but I don't like to do it. But you can learn so much. You can see, like, I talk with my hands way too much. I know I do. That's another thing I'm trying to be more careful of. The challenge is selling criticism from those who have never sold. The challenge is selling criticism from those who have never sold. B Squared Trading Post, expand on that a bit. Give me some more thoughts. That sounds interesting, but I'm not exactly sure where you're going with it. River Run Trading Post. If I don't know what it is, I'll Google it just to get some idea. But Google items, Google Lens is not always correct. Exactly. Yeah, even looking at your own video receipts, giving selling criticism. Absolutely. Yeah. From somebody who's never sold. And I get on my husband about that. So now I know where you're going with this. My husband will be like, you didn't read the chat fast enough. You didn't do this. I mean, he says it in a loving way. I'm over here being grumpy about it. He actually says it in a very loving way. But I'm like, wait a minute, mister. You're sitting back there nice and comfy behind the screen. You don't know what it's like to be watching the auction going on, paying attention to the chat, figuring out what's coming up next, making sure you say the right thing. Like, there's a lot of stuff that we're doing as sellers. So, but it's hard to accept that.
At one point, I'm gonna switch places, and she's gonna need to grow 6 arms.
See, and then I tell him, can't you get the camera angles right? How come you didn't switch it? Quit putting me in that dang bubble up there. I tell him that all the time. I'm like, he'll see the bubble. He does this to me. I'm selling something and he has it zoomed, the camera zoomed in on the item, and then he sticks me in the bubble, and I'm standing there looking like a fool. I'm like, dude, I'm not talking. Don't put me in the bubble. Um, so it's just normal husband and wife stuff. I do love him, and I really appreciate him. So words of uncertainty. And then so words that undermine trust. That's what I asked. Anybody have words that undermine trust? Old Maid Nude. I tend not to trust people who regularly say an item or the one they're running sells on another platform from some. Exactly. Here's the deal, people. I don't care what you think your item's worth. As sellers, we do not set the value of our items. Handmade is different. Handmade is always kind of their own creature, okay? I am not setting the value of this mug. The buyer sets the value. I may have a general idea, but the true value is what the buyer will pay. So I can care less what it is listed on eBay for. And I'm just as guilty, though. I've done this exact same thing. I've been like, hey, on other platforms, I'm selling it for half the price that other platforms do.
Good morning, Jeremy. We were talking about your awesome show, Selling Cantaloupe.
Good morning. So the people saying, oh, well, it sells on eBay for this or it sells on Etsy for that. Who in the frick cares? The value is whatever somebody is going to buy it for. How many of us, don't be shy about this, put something in the chat. How many of us have had some item, I don't know what it is. I'm going to take this right here. This Spanish glass. I can sit here and tell you, this is a $200 piece of art glass here. $200. If you're not going to pay me $200, it's not $200. It's whatever you're going to pay me. So how many of you have had an item, you list it, it doesn't sell, but you've researched and by God, you know it's worth X number. And you wait, and you wait, and you wait, and then you reduce the price. Because that number is a number in your head. Like, yes, you may be looking at some comps going on with it. But at the end of the day, the value is whatever that buyer is going to pay you. There are things that have a higher value. It's beautiful, though. It is. Thank you.
Little cameo here. I like Jeremy's spin on this when he shows a ring and he shows the black light and it glows. And someone asks him, why does it glow? And he doesn't get involved in the criticalities of why. He says, well, I just show you what I got. And then for those who know, they will make the determination. That's great.
So, and I kind of diverted there on value of items, but the whole thing is about trust. It started with Old Maid New Creation saying, it started with Old Maid New Creations. A rework special. I'm about to comment. You're so right. Saying they don't trust people who say this sells on whatever app. Yeah, to me. The other words are that create a feeling of dishonesty and not trust is trust me. If somebody has to tell you to trust them, I'm not going to trust you. Show me. Words mean nothing. Give me your action. Don't tell me to trust you, right? And I've done this. Think about when we may have done this. Sometimes I'll have something that has a maker's mark on the bottom or something that glows, but I have 6 or 7 lights around me and I can't show you that it glows. And I'll say, just trust me. This really does glow. I mean, again, I'm bringing this to you because these are things I'm working on myself that I'm realizing, oh, wow. So trust me does not invoke trust in your buyers. The other one, I'll be honest. Well, goodness gracious, I hope you're being honest. Why do you have to tell me you're being honest, right? All right, hold on. I need to go back. I want to talk about a Reworker's Passion says, handmade sellers definitely undercharge for their work on this app. They do. There is not the time, everything goes into it. Now, normally I'm one to say your time is not reflected in the value of your item. The value is the value. Handmade is a different category because they are actually making it. What am I missing, honey? Let's see. The secret to find a price low enough to gain interest and not price yourself out of the market, but high enough to make a profit. That is, there's this constant battle of, I need to make money, but I need it to be low enough here to attract my buyers. And you're trying to find that equilibrium, right? This is why I am such a firm believer in dollar starts. I'm not going to sit here and advocate that everybody needs to do dollar starts. But for me, this is my goal, is to become a full-time dollar start reseller, because I am such a firm believer in that the value is in what the buyer places on it, and the efficiency, the time it saves me, the coming in, the remembering what I paid for it, remembering how I tagged it, what do I need to sell for it, researching it. That's hours and hours each week that I could be live selling stuff or sourcing to bring you more stuff, where I just put $1 on it and it's going to sell for what it sells for. And I know everybody can't do that, and I'm not saying everybody needs to. I'm making a point that it is attractive to me for that reason, along with a million other reasons that Jeremy so articulately explains the psychology behind dollar starts. Let's see, what else am I missing here? I have taken you into the bathroom. I love discounts. Thank you so much. What you making? I appreciate that. Do you do flash sales in the bin? I have done, Ramona, I have done flash sales in the bin. I think they're a great tool. I think they're one of the tools. Speaking of tools, I got to do a little plug for myself here. I do have a PDF. It is free. It is in the bin. It is all about 22 whatnot tools. If you are interested, shoot me a DM with your email address. After this show in the next couple of hours, I will email it to you for free. I actually have do not buy on the listing. But it goes, and I have summarized 22 different tools on Whatnot, how to use them individually or connection with each other. And this is one of the things I love about Whatnot. We have all these tools. We can mix them up and mash them up into any way that fits into our strategic business plan and make it our own. I'm not like every other vintage seller. Not every other vintage seller is going to do free shipping and dollar starts. These are tools that I have chosen to put together to sell my items. That doesn't mean that people are going to agree, disagree. It doesn't matter if you agree or disagree, because you know what? As another seller, you have the same tools that you can mix and match to best suit your business. That's the beauty of Whatnot. Look at all the various things that can be sold in the styles on here, and we're all using the same tools, but there's a million different ways to put them together. To me, that's exciting. I love seeing that and figuring. I am constantly like, what can I do with a flash sale? What can I do with free shipping in this? That's what I'm always like. I lay in bed at night thinking about various things. How can I combine this? What if I do this? What can I do with the coupon? And watching other sellers, and I've mentioned Jeremy a million times today, he is such a source of inspiration for me. But the way he has done his trading cards, genius, freaking genius. He has a new card about to come out that it is, I don't know if he's given it appropriate actual name yet, but it's a card where it's going to have a discount code on it, like a coupon code, and you're supposed to share it with other people. Well, what does that do? Brings other people into his show. Freaking genius. I wish I would have thought about it first. I love the idea. All right, so back to words. I keep diverting. What? I'm sorry.
And he's also creating new cards for the team.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love Kate. Kate, your card is amazing.
Collector's cards. He's created a whole set of collector's cards that people are like not fighting for them, but in a friendly way, vying to get them. We have 2 of them. I've been emailing, so is my husband, or messaging, DMing people to try to get an Oopsie card. If you have an Oopsie card, I'm willing to trade. Just putting it out there. I am looking for an Oopsie card. Here I am on a whole nother show talking about his show. What am I doing? I'm marketing for him because this is such a freaking cool idea, right? Like, I'm super excited about this. It's not even my idea. I'm super excited about it because it's genius. Like, here we are. You're going to have people in all different shows, and what's going to be happening? You're going to be hearing his name and Green 13's name in all these different shows. In the chat, people are going to be DMing. Is this not the whole basis of marketing? Getting your name over and over and over again? The whole trading card thing. Now, there's another seller who's actually making trading cards, which I think are awesome because I love the pictures on them. But this is like a twist. It's like a whole different type idea behind it. And as my husband said, his next series, he just unveiled Kate's card. It is honoring his mods. what's better than that? Like, mods are so undervalued and appreciated on this app. Okay, back to words. So what do we want to do with our words? We want to focus on benefits, positive affirmations, right? Affirming words, positive words, focusing on benefits. Not, we do have to point out, oh, there's a chip here, but it could be like, there's a little love bump here. There's this. We can use better language, right? I've heard different people say in different ways. Dust is vintage glitter. It is not dust. You get some vintage glitter with this. So positive affirming, even if it's cheesy, because what is it going to do? It'll make you smile, right? Be confident. Be confident in what you're selling. We don't, especially as women, we don't need to apologize for everything. You apologize when you have a reason to apologize, when you have screwed up, when you've done something wrong. Not having an item somebody asked for, you don't have to apologize for that. I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm saying you don't have to. Don't feel like you have to. Be confident. Be concise in our words. Don't be like me and ramble on forever, like I'm doing today. I'm just rambling. But being concise. If you start saying too many words, people might hear just a piece of it and get wrong ideas. So just trying to concisely summarize something, and using positive language. Dust equals vintage glitter. That is right. And just using positive language as much as we can. Let's just face it. If we're using positive language, and I don't mean this to say it like in a cheesy, like, I don't know, way, but we've all in a chat, everybody will say, I don't like those sellers who yell at you and say, come on, Jeb, bid it up. And nobody says they like those sellers, right? They may be entertaining for a bit because, I'm going to say it, I don't know, I don't hear other people saying it, but a lot of people become popular on this app because they are the reality TV version of whatnot. Not everybody likes that. So not yelling at the chat, or saying, what are some of the other things? Getting mad when it sells too low. Those are all negative. People like the positive. So even though I'm saying cheesy things, it has some benefit to you as a seller. All right, that's all I have to say on words. I mean, words are powerful. So just to kind of summarize, watching how we say it, what we say. For women in particular, the two words we need to remove or be cautious of, maybe not remove, just, and apologizing when you don't need to. And then the someday, and this is the one that Leslie kind of touched on, Reworker's Passion, that made me start thinking about words as a whole. But someday I am, someday I will. I don't know if that was the exact. I actually took a note when she said it. I had my notebook there. Let me see if I can find my note. I actually wrote it down. Yep. I am only. So a Reworker's Passion the other day started talking about I am only. I am only this. You are way more than I am only. So I'm not going to repeat everything she said. This was her idea and her thoughts. It was a wonderful sentiment conversation. You are more than I am only something, or my item is only something. When I was doing my notes, the someday came to my mind of someday I am, someday I will. Do you have a vision or do you have a mission? I'm going to go back and repeat that for the people just coming in. Someday you're going to what? Is that just a vision? Or are you on a mission to accomplish something? Make sure your words are reinforcing your heart. Make sure your words are reinforcing your direction. They're powerful. All right. I think my husband wants to come on for a second.
All right. I just got a DM. I'm not gonna name the name of who is the DM. Oops, give me a second, guys. I need to bring back my screen. Oh, what happened here?
He's fumbling. He's fine.
I'm fumbling. Oh, there it is. It just came back. Okay. So, someone sent me a DM and it said that they rated a show, and the show they rated, they were cursing up a storm, and they felt very uncomfortable with the way the show was being conducted because they brought their people into the show without knowing what was happening. So, suggestion is, if you have a mod, send your mod to the show that you're thinking of rating, scope it out, come back and thumbs up, thumbs down. That way you have a little bit more of a heads up on what's happening before you go and get surprised with something that might not be your cup of tea or the cup of tea of your audience. Just a thought.
I used to do random picks, um, and I'm going to be honest with you guys. I scope out who I know pretty much how long my shows are going to run. And before I start a show, I scope out who is going to be on at the time that I'm expected to end. I always have 2 or 3 ideas of who I'm going to rate. And you will notice on Monday morning shows, I rate into I Love Discounts a lot. I am going to be very selective on who I rate into. I just don't rate into anybody. Now, I get to know you, end up being on my list. And I don't say this in a conceited or snobby way whatsoever, but it is for that exact reason. I've taken people into shows that I've been embarrassed that I took them into. And it's a reflection. I feel it's a reflection on me. Whether anybody else thinks it is or not, I feel that it is. So that's just the way I operate. Obviously, you do business the way you feel it is best for you, but I always scope out who I'm going to rate. Like I already have somebody in mind for today. It's somebody that I've done business with before. I know and trust the seller. So I don't think it's a bad thing. And I know some people will say, oh, well, you only rate your friends. It's not just my friends. I will rate other people, but it's people that I trust with my audience, right? You are all mean something to me. You are valuable. I don't want to throw you off, into the deep end somewhere. And I have, and I'm not, it does not make me feel good when I do that. All right. What time is it? 8:36. We're about to rate. Speaking of, can you check and see? No, because I will keep talking. Okay. So we're going to go to 9 because there is somebody I want to rate into today. Let's change topic completely. Here's a whole nother topic. Please put in the chat thoughts, opinions, because I could be very off base with this. This is my own opinion. I could be in left field. And you know what? If you guys tell me now, Tracy, you're in left field, I don't know why you think that. I'm okay with that. I will bring up topics to hear opposing views. Don't pay somebody to co-host. Why are you paying somebody, you as a seller, paying somebody else to co-host you in their show? It doesn't cost that person anything to co-host. I can co-host anybody right now and it doesn't cost me a dime. Why? Never pay. Thank you. Agree. It is a thing. The Lost Ledger. Yeah. Why would you do that? There are sellers. I'm not going to name names. There are sellers who will charge you it's like a sponsored giveaway. I'm not against sponsored giveaways. It done in this format, I'm against it. There are sellers who will charge you $15, $20 to co-host you for 5 minutes and give away a Cheat Temu sticker. Why don't you just go on and do a show, be your own publicity, shout your own praises. Your 5 minutes is better spent starting a show and running a show than it is paying somebody in their audience. It blows my mind. I've seen it so many times lately. A reverse appearance fee. There you go, Eye for Beauty. Yeah. It just, for 5 minutes, it just doesn't make sense to me. And it's done, the people that I've seen doing this, it's like, they put it like it's a huge benefit to you. Being live on Whatnot, being in front of people is free on Whatnot. You just sign up. I didn't pay anything to be here, have this privilege to talk to you guys. I'm not going to pay somebody for that privilege. I mean, if anybody should charge us, it should be, they do, Whatnot. We do pay Whatnot, part of our 8%. But, I mean, it blew my mind. I've seen it a couple of times this week, and I'm just like, what the heck? Yeah, Forever Young Resellers was on our show earlier. I'm not charging them. I'm legit out here, and I'm not saying this to build myself up, but I'm legit out here searching for people that are new to me to bring to my audience to be like, hey, check this person out. They're really cool, and I just found them. I want you to find them too. I don't know. I love discounts. Thank you so much. Would you like to co-host now for the $5? I cannot, after that, I cannot co-host you for $5. My fee is $15 at least. I'm just joking, people. So, morning friends, can someone rewatch a show they want to? What you making? You cannot rewatch unless you have made a purchase, which irritates the heck out of me. I wish Whatnot would bring the rewatch feature back. My shows, if you want to watch my shows, we stream to YouTube. Mine are always free. You never have to make a purchase to do mine. Because of Whatnot, there are chat shows that will sell a very inexpensive sticker. I have two trains of thought on this. For those chat shows that sell a very inexpensive sticker, $1, $2, I have no problem with it, because you know what? $1, $2, by the time they mail that, they're barely covering the cost of the sticker to mail it, right? They're not profiting from that. That is legit a service to their buyers when it's $1 or $2. But when you have people charging you $5 for a Temu sticker to rewatch their show for 60 days, that should not be allowed. My personal opinion. Sorry, I got a red chat here. I'm just trying to read it really quick. Oh, that's a good question. The lost ledger, that's a wonderful question. So I'm going to answer this question. Let me just finish up this thought real quick, and we're going to answer your question. That's my personal opinion. You all do what you want to do, but if a seller is just not really making money, they're breaking even, they're doing it as a community service. We're in the community section. Most of us chat shows, we do it under community. It's supposed to be a community service, right? So then why am I trying to make money off you? Terms of service, we have to have stuff in our bin to sell. We have to. That's terms of service. So we can't do a community show without something in our bin to sell. But to rewatch a show, to pay $5, to me is a ripoff. $1 or $2, to me, that is breaking even. They're not profiting. They're not getting rich off of that, right? Okay, we had a question here real quick, and I'm going to come down to, oh, you put it in there for me again. Thank you. I think this is a wonderful question. Does having a full-time job impact your approach to Whatnot? For me, I'm less stressed about Whatnot shenanigans. It affects my approach 100%. I have a full-time job. Those of you who are new to me and don't know, I'm a CPA. I work for a large firm. I have a full-time job. I work from home. It makes me, because I have a full-time job that pays for my mortgage and pays my bills, and I'm not stressed about it, I have a higher tolerance to risk. I am more willing to try dollar starts and free shipping. I'm more willing to take a loss in order to see if something works than somebody who is relying on Whatnot to pay their mortgage. And that's rightfully so. If Whatnot is your only gig, if that's what you are doing to make money, your only source of income, you're probably a lot less risk tolerant because you're playing with the roof over your head, right? So, but it's a double-edged sword. While I could be far more risk tolerant and try a lot, be more lenient in the things I'm trying, I also don't have the time that a full-time Whatnot seller has. My sourcing is limited. The time I can be on lives is limited. My shipping is limited. I never sell more than 50 to 80 items in a show because that's all I can logistically ship in 2 days around my other work schedule. So I think it's a double-edged sword. I think it gives you a little more freedom, but at the same time, it restricts your growth. But that does not mean you cannot be a successful Whatnot seller and have a full-time job. And I say successful loosely because success is defined differently by each person. I just want to point out Farm LLC. She openly admits that she has a day job. She just got her wings. She just became a premier seller. So in case you don't know, to be a premier seller, you have to sell $50,000 in a rolling 3 months. So every 3 months, you have to have at least $50,000 in sales. And they look at it every single month for the past 3 months. You have to meet certain listing requirements. So there's a whole, the whole slew of things that you have to meet. Yeah, and that she sells, and she's entertaining too. I just like her as far as, I don't even buy much jewelry. I don't think I've ever purchased from her, but I go on her shows frequently because she's entertaining. But she just got her wings, and she's a part-time seller, and she doesn't hide the fact that she's a part-time seller. She's a great one. Even if you don't buy jewelry, but you're looking at ways to improve your business, she has a lot of good advice. She also has some PDFs and stuff that she sells that are just spot on with information. And she even has one or two that she's like, oh, that's outdated. Don't buy that. Like, she's super honest about it. I like that. I like that she's very transparent. Oh, you got a uranium pair of earrings from her. Oh, that's cool. She has the coolest stuff. If you're into jewelry, definitely check her out. And speaking of other people here, let's talk. If there aren't any questions, I'm going to go in. I just want to talk about some chat shows. If anybody else works full time and has opinions, please share them. Put them in the chat.
Let's circle back a little bit to the rewatch. It's free for you to multicast to YouTube. There's no charge. Why would you not take advantage of those tools to be able to offer that to your audience? If they cannot stick around because they have other things that they need to do, that's a perfect way for you to be able to put it out there, and whenever they have a chance, they're going to come back and rewatch your show. And they might be more interested in coming to your live shows later on.
Yep. We've got a good question and a good observation here. So let me real quick follow up with the Lost Ledger on the whole working while doing whatnot. So you said it's hard to be consistent with shows while you're still working. Totally agree. I feel the pain. I have found what works for me is to schedule it in. My shows are just as important as a meeting. I live and die. Of course, I'm very analytical and I like pen and paper, but I live and die by a calendar. I schedule in my shows. You will notice my shows are at 7 a.m. on Monday mornings, Friday mornings, and Saturday around my 9-to-5 job. And those are appointments just as important as a doctor's appointment or anything else, anything that I'm going to make sure I commit to. Whatnot and your selling is no different than anything if you have a desire to do it. If your heart is in it, where there's a will, there's a way. Make a commitment. It's the same as working out. And this is something I've been struggling with. I used to run marathons all the time. Since I've been doing whatnot, I have let my fitness decline. But when I was really into the whole fitness scene, I would make time for it every single day. You make time for what you want to make time for. We have time to scroll on whatnot. We have time to do whatever. So if it's important to you, if doing a show is important to you, you will find where it works in your schedule, whether that is like the Forever Young resellers getting up and doing a 4:45 in the morning show or doing it at night. You will find that time that works for you. So the vintage girl and that guy. Question, still fairly new, learning so much. We do a 2 to 3 hour show on Thursday. Should I do short 20 or 30-minute pop-ups through the week? That's really up to you. I'm a firm believer. I think any show is a good show. I think the more times that you are on, the better it is for you. I'm saying. So there is a consensus, there is a theory that if you're on for 2 hours, there's like this turning point where whatnot kind of bumps you up in that algorithm. I say that, and I don't do more than about 2 hour shows. I can't. It doesn't fit with my style, my time, everything else. I think 30 minutes is a little short if you're not on a raid train for a show. However, it's not as much as about the time as it is about you. Do it when you're fresh, when you can bring the good attitude, when you can sell stuff. So do it when you feel that you can do it, is my answer. Whatever time that may be. And never sell more than you can ship. I say that a million times. Never sell more than you can ship. We don't have other times. I agree. I don't have times. I mean, I could do it on a Saturday, but I also have a family and they need food and my house needs to be cleaned. And, we all have lives. I get it totally. Evening for selling shows, would you upload to YouTube? Even for all my shows are uploaded to YouTube. All of my shows.
Majority, unless we are in a different venue that we cannot control, most of our shows are going to be on YouTube, no matter what.
Forever Young resellers have at least one consistent show per week. Absolutely. Think about the stores you shop at. When you need to get groceries, what goes through your head? Oh, they're only open till 9 tonight. I'm not going to start a controversy. Don't y'all start a controversy here, please. When I want a Chick-fil-A sandwich, I know I can't get them on Sundays, right? Because I know their schedule. We're not talking politics. I just had to make a point. So the same thing goes for whatnot. Your buyers, your viewers will come to expect you to be on at certain times. So finding at least one show a week that's a consistent day and time. If I miss one of my shows and I don't communicate, I have people now who'll send me a message. Hey, are you okay? What's going on? I haven't seen you. because they know Tracy comes on at 7 a.m. on Mondays and 7 a.m. on Fridays and 4 o'clock on Saturdays. And if my schedule is going to change, we're getting into comp cheerleading season. I'm going to be traveling on the weekends. When that time starts coming, I start saying, hey, no show on Saturday. We're going to do it on Monday instead. And I start letting people know. Let's see. What did I miss? Full-time job here too. Always have your shop loaded. Yep. And have shows listed. Great advice. Totally agree with that. My political opinions that I don't like Chick-fil-A chicken. Amy, you cracked me up. All right. For all of you who may not know the whole controversy, I Love Discounts did a show innocently mentioned Chick-fil-A, and it created this whole political like bomb that went off in their show that just reverberated. Like we have all been talking about it for probably 2 weeks now. So the example came into my head, and immediately I'm thinking you shouldn't say that, but of course I'm Tracy, and I'm like going to say it anyways, right? So, all right. We're getting close. We have about 10 minutes. You guys have any other questions? I am trying to go right to 9 tonight because there is somebody I want to raid into. What do you consider a loaded shop? Whatever works for you. I have done anywhere from 10 or 15 to 200 items. I think whatever works for you. I like to have something. I am a strong believer in having things in your bin. If I have stuff in my buy now, the store down here, almost every show people will buy from it. It's almost a given. And there is nothing better than somebody buying from the marketplace and you wake up to a sale in the morning. Nothing starts a day out better than picking up your phone when that alarm goes off and seeing a whatnot sale. It feels good. And that's not going to happen if you don't have stuff loaded. However, keep in mind, and this is something I didn't think about. I'm going to give credit where credit's due. This is another Jeremy Green 13 idea, is inventory gets stale. The same reason why stores move, constantly changing the inventory. Inventory gets stale. So don't have something there. I rotate mine monthly. And because I need a system for everything in order to keep track, because I can't keep it all in my head. On odd months, everything's numbered. You'll notice this. Now that I'm going to tell you my secret, you guys are going to notice this. On odd months, I'll put my odd number inventory. I number everything. So if it ends in an odd number, it shows up in my bin on odd months. My even numbered inventory goes on my even months. That's a way for me to keep rotating it around. It works for me. And that's a way for me to easily know if I want it in shows that month or not. Do you think loading the buy it now is that? I 100% think it's advantageous. So I now, but it also depends on your business model. Let me clarify this. It depends on how you sell. There are the liquidation of the very fast-paced shows, and I'm going to pick out the two. I Love Discounts and Green 13. Well, but I Love Discounts uses the bin very strategically. I like the way they use it. Miss Big Papa Pump doesn't list a lot in their shows neither. Do they? No. So if you are one of those fast-paced, you're moving hundreds of items an hour, and one of your key metrics is how many items you're selling per hour, loading your bin may not be advantageous to you, because that's not where your strategic plan is. That's not how you sell in your business. If you're more niche like I am, I don't look at items per hour sold. That's not a metric that I measure my success on, because it doesn't make sense for my selling style. Having stuff in the bin does. So I think you need to think about your style and if it makes sense. Shell says she has purchases often outside of her lives. Yep. I mean, again, you got to see what works for you, but making sure you're rotating it. And after a while, if it doesn't sell after a few months, pull it out. Or even after a couple of weeks, pull it out, hold it out, maybe hold it. If it's something that hey, maybe it's seasonal, maybe it's, more of a Halloween item and we're by Easter, put it in a big Rubbermaid bucket and put it aside and bring it back out a few months later. For the first time, I've been storing Thanksgiving, Halloween, kind of fall stuff. It's going to show for the first time tomorrow night. Put popular searches items in your buy now. Exactly. I use my buy now is I like to show items first, randomly. And then if they don't sell, they go in my buy now. So it's kind of like that second step. but I also list on other platforms. So me taking the time to photograph something, create a listing for it, it's not just for Whatnot. It goes in multiple places. That's what works for my business. However, speaking of that, for my show tomorrow, I'm going to do a little plug for myself. So I've talked a little bit about free shipping dollar starts. Those of you who don't know, I did 2 months of fully dollar starts. I am a firm believer in them. I did 2 months of them. I had pros and cons. One of my biggest cons, one of the biggest reasons why I stopped was I couldn't keep up with the inventory and I felt a need to do more than one show a week. I had it in my head that only fast-paced liquidation sellers could do dollar starts. And so I quit doing it because mainly I was running out of inventory and I was starting to think about canceling shows because I didn't have the inventory. And that's not a good place to be. So I was struggling on the inventory side. I then switched to free shipping, which has been wildly successful. I love free shipping. It is not going away for me. My goal has always been to do dollar starts and free shipping. Like the goal has always been to get back to dollar starts. I have spent the last few months really figuring out how can I make this work. At least I think I'm figuring it out. I hope so. I'm going to try. So I've really spent time on how as a niche seller that's not selling 200-300 items in a show can make dollar starts work and be successful for me. I've watched a lot of the other dollar start sellers in vintage. However, there's only one that's not a high volume seller. She's very successful, but she has an existing pretty good audience size. The other ones, House of Coop, Upcycled with Brie, Hodgepodge are all dollar sellers that sell more volume. They're selling, 200 items in a show, if not more, or close to it, around that. I don't do that. But we're going to try. So anyways, all of that rambling to tell you tomorrow, doing primitive, ironstone, a little bit of salvage, free shipping, dollar starts. This is my first test show to see if I can expand this to other future shows coming up. I did list everything. With these shows, I am part of the dollar strategy for me is not listing because this is the first one. And it is so important to like drum up that excitement about it that I did pre-list everything, but you'll see if you go in there, there's a ton of pre-bids. Thank you guys for those of you who've been in there already. I saw those this morning and that made me really happy to wake up to see that. They'll say like as shown, like I didn't do a whole lot of like, this is the measurement and all of that stuff. It was more one picture, pop it in there to give you some idea of what's coming. However, as part of my concept of dollar starts free shipping, I won't be listing as much because it just doesn't make sense efficiency wise. All right. Last week I gave you kind of a summary. We're going to be rating probably in about 5 minutes. So if you have other questions, please throw them in the chat and we'll try to address them. Last week, I gave you a summary of upcoming Raid Train shows for the week. I want to kind of do something every week of, hey, here's things to check out. Here's some ideas. Usually it's going to be upcoming shows. Today, I want to tell you about 2 shows in particular. And then I want to give you a list, and my husband's going to tag these people, of talk shows that I recommend. If you are in here when I mention your show, please feel free to put day, time, anything in the chat. Yes, I am doing a reverse auction. I've kind of put those in my rotation. I'm trying to do them about every 6 weeks. If I do not say your show, it is not that I'm trying to exclude you. There is no possible way I can get everybody. I tried to sit and think about shows that I regularly seek out, that I trust their advice, because there's a lot of bad advice going on out there. So if I'm mentioning it, this is somebody that I feel has some experience, has some something behind their word, right? Something to draw from. So I want to kind of give you some of these. Are you ready, honey, to start typing some names? B Squared Trading Post. They do a seller's help on Tuesdays. Awesome. Fundamentals. And I'm going to try to go slow enough so my husband can tag them. Also on Tuesdays. Natural State of High. Y'all, I don't think there's a sweeter person out there. She is so down to earth. I just want to like hug her. I want to like reach to the screen and hug her. And she's pregnant right now, and that baby bump is just so adorable. Usually she's sitting down and I don't see it, but she was standing up at a show the other day, and I'm like, you're just so darn cute. So Natural State of High, and you know what? I got to expand on this one just a little bit. Natural State of High. She tells it like it is. She's just honest, but it's just this. It hits you. It just hits you what she says. It is just, and she's encouraging. I have never heard her say a bad word about somebody. Yes, a Reworkers Passion. She is amazing. Speaking of a Reworkers Passion, you are next on my list. Leslie at a Reworkers Passion does Mindset Mondays. Leslie is one. She can't tell you the truth, but it is done in a kind way. But it's gonna hit you in your soul. It's gonna make you think. You're gonna be like, oh, yep, she said it. It doesn't hurt, but it's making me think. And it's encouraging. And it's also like, if you ever just are like, I don't know if I can do this, go join a Mindset Monday show and you will be like, I can do this. I got it after that show.
And her soaps are the bomb.
They're the bomb. Absolutely. Green 13. I never miss a Green 13 show. I say never. Okay, legit. Literally, I love discounts. Literally, I was traveling one Sunday morning on the plane. I paid $20 to United Airlines to get their Wi-Fi so that I would not miss a Green 13 show. That is how dedicated I am to watching Green 13 shows. Sunday mornings, 8 a.m. Random Ramblings. Custom wood burning. This is another handmade, creative. You know what I like about her? And you may start to see a theme. I like people who are like, I'm drawn to a crowd that puts some thought behind things, that has a good business mind. Like, this is who I'm drawn to. Custom wood burning. She has a list of topics she's going to go through. She always has some type of motivational quote or something positive, and she's very business focused, but she's also mellow and calm, and I can just listen to her. I love discounts. Lysandra and Tony are amazing sellers. I love discounts Monday and Saturday mornings, 7:15. We usually rate into them on Monday mornings, kind of like my go-to person on Mondays to rate into. They're some of my favorite people. They're honest. They are down to earth. They are like, just answer questions. Like, you have something to ask. They're going to give you the most honest thing. And what I really like about them, people will go and ask them like, hey, Lysandra, can you go check out my show or check out my profile? And they come back with some really good observations, and not bad. They're not tearing you down. They're not like, oh, that's an ugly picture. You should. No, not at all. They're like, hey, maybe if you did this, it could increase your sales. Like, they give you advice that actually helps you be a better seller. CG Boomerang Echo. There's no way I can make this list without mentioning CG Boomerang Echo. Raid Train Show. She's an awesome raid train conductor. I love her trains. They're organized. They're well run. They're advertised appropriately. She does a raid train show. If you want to know how to be on a raid train.
And there she is, Miss Echo.
You want to know how to get on a raid train etiquette, what to do on a raid train, what's coming up for raid trains. Last night, what to do post raid train, how to follow up. Thank you so much for that. I never thought about that. And my husband looked at me. He gave me that look. He goes, do you send thank you letters? Like, he was so accusing. He looked at me and I'm like, I don't. And I just hung my head. I'm like, I know what I need to do. So perfect show. The Red Rooster. Many of you may not know the Red Rooster. This is a Canadian seller. She talks a lot about the tariffs. She talks a lot about Canadian shipping. That's her neighbor. We're like right there. I find her very interesting. She also talks about other things, but she's on almost daily. I don't think she has a set time. I'd have to double check. But I love the Red Rooster. Just a very, you could tell that she's up on all the current events, and it's almost like watching a news show. Crystals Vintage Collective. Now, Crystals is a newer seller. Normally, I would not recommend a seller that has less than 1,000 sales, maybe even more. That's even kind of a low number. Normally, I would not recommend one if they're giving Whatnot advice, because I don't think they've been on Whatnot long enough to give that advice most times. However, Crystal's Vintage Collective, she does shows on technology. How do you upload your inventory? So they're very informative on the tech side. If you need to know how to do something, she shows you step by step by step, and she answers questions. Love it. Daisy Lane. Oh, I'm going too fast for my husband to type it. Christelle, Christel, S underscore vintage underscore. Got it? Okay. The next one is Daisy Lane. Daisy Lane is probably, I don't know if I can consider her new anymore. She's probably been around about 6 months or so. She's just sweet. I want to go be her friend. I just want to go hang out with her in her store. Like legit. I want to go hang out in her store. She has good advice. She's been a business owner, selling antiques and vintage, booth, her own store for years and years and years. So just awesome advice. She knows what she's talking about. I have 2 more. Sassy Vintage Chick. She was one of the first people. Oh, you're in your 4th month? I would never have guessed. See, that's how well her information is that I legit thought she was on here a lot longer than that. Sassy Vintage Chick. She was one of the first people that I connected with on Whatnot. Her and Thrifty Drew Nicole were the first 2 that I ever connected with on Whatnot when I started. And I used to email the Sassy Vintage Chick or direct message and be like, how do you do this? I would ask her questions. She does a new seller support show and she's sassy, just like her name says. Do I have a runners up list? I may be missing people and I apologize, but I have quite a list going on as it is. So, and finally, Farm LLC. I talked about her a little bit earlier for another topic. She does a Sunday morning after Jeremy. We watch Jeremy and then we watch Farm. We have our list of the way we watch our shows. Again, she sells jewelry, and a lot of her topics are focused on the jewelry sellers. But I think there's some gems of knowledge you can glean from everybody. There's things that she has done. She has inspired me to try something new in different ways on my show. So that's my list. And if I missed you, it's not because I don't like you. Honestly, I can only do so much. So my husband wants to do something real quick here.
Hi, for beauty. I think we like you a little bit. Miss Echo, I'm gonna do a little cameo so you can see the wizard behind the curtain.
All
Here we
right.
go.
If you're still in here, this is my husband. For those of you, he's always back there. That's my handsome man right there. All right. With that, you guys, the Red Rooster. Hi, I was calling out your chat show. I just went through a whole list of chat shows. Miss Amy Perrin right there, another awesome seller. So I went through a list of chat shows. That's why my husband was tagging you to give people the opportunity to follow you in an absolutely good way. There was nothing bad said. So with that, though, you guys, I have been waiting till 9. There is a seller. This was somebody who's somewhat new. We're going to go see her. She's wonderful. She took a little hiatus and then she came back. She's been a customer of mine for a long time and she has some amazing stuff. We're going to go see her in just a second. Oh, thank you so much, Lucy's Barn. I appreciate that. You guys have an amazing weekend.
Thank you, Miss Leslie.
Thank you, Leslie. Hope to see you guys sometime in a show over the weekend. Let's go raid Old Maid Nude Creations. There she is.
Honey, what are you doing?
Nothing?